Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I just told this story and then I realized that I didn't capture the video because I have a hard time seeing in the reflection with the sun and everything. I can't even tell if I'm filming or not. So, anyway, so let's try it again. Okay, this is a story from when I was about 14 or 15 and working at a place called fast food joint called near my home called Buddy's. And it's gone now. There used to be a second store like in Sugar House, and anyways, we got robbed there. I'm going to tell that story here in a second. I think I was ninth grade, I think, and 14 or 15, and we got robbed. So, anyways, this one night, it was a slow night. There were three of us working. A uh, a girl my age from my school named Holly. And then I think the adult in the room was 16. She was 14. I think I was 14, if I remember correctly. And there was one older girl from another school. I think she was 16. She was, I guess, in charge, technically. And, okay, about 30 minutes before closing time, this guy walks in, and I'll play it safe. I won't name any races, but he was not of my race. And in our neighborhood, we would rarely see anyone of this race in my neighborhood. So it's kind of, oh, wow, it's a big deal. He had a sweatshirt on that said East High, which is not my high school. It was from downtown, but who's to say if that was even his shirt? You know, it could be anybody's shirt, but he was wearing this. I mean, that was an identifying place when we talked to the police. But so about 30 minutes before closing time, I think, if I remember correctly, he comes in by himself. He probably had a car and a driver, but we don't know. We didn't see that. He comes in by himself and he just looks around, spends a lot of time looking around, mulling over the menu, trying to figure out what to order, looking around at everything, right? And then he walks out without ordering a thing. Oh, wow, that's strange. Okay, then about 5 minutes before closing, I was out stacking chairs in the dining room and looking to his back while he was at the cash register talking to my classmate Holly. And all of a sudden Holly gets this frightened look on her face, and my heart sunk, and I thought, oh no, I think we're being robbed. This is dangerous. I'm not going to be a hero here and try to clobber this guy over the head with a chair or anything, but I'm going to quietly walk around, avoid the front cash register and walk to the back room, and you just kind of wait for him to leave. And apparently he pulled a gun on her. He probably said, open your cash register, and I think he took everything that was there. Probably wasn't much, probably a couple $100. And then he runs out of the store. She's in tears, crying, oh, we got robbed, And I'm a little bit vague on some of the details, and so I believe we immediately called the police, and I believe they immediately came, and we probably gave our stories. But then I remember, like a few days later, a detective showed up to the business. I can't remember if I was working that day or whatever, but he had a book of photos that he wanted us who were working that night to go through. And lo and behold, our man was in it, in the book. That's him, right there. Okay. And then, probably a couple weeks later, we get summoned to court to come testify against him. And right in front of him. So he's in the room, and in the audience is one of his friends of the same race, a big, huge, muscular guy, looked like a bodybuilder, looked like he'd rather just as soon kill you as say hello. And he was kind of looking, staring us down as we got up to the to testify one at a time. And as I recall, when it was my turn, they asked me, "Do you see the man that did this in the room today?" And I said, "Yes." I think that's him. That's him. Sitting right over there, the defendant. And they said, "Are you sure?" I look over to his friend. His friend is giving me the evil eye. They're like, "Don't you dare. Don't you dare testify against him." And I'm being 14 or 15, I can't remember. I was weak. I waffled just a little bit. When they pressed me on, "Are you sure?" I said, "Well," I probably said something effective. "I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure. I could be wrong." I was pretty sure. That's it. Him. And he certainly wouldn't have been wearing that East High sweatshirt in trial, but oh my heavens. And then it was over. That was my one day in court. And we never heard whether he was convicted. I think our assumption was that he was convicted, but maybe didn't serve any jail time or somehow got off the hook, was out immediately, as we hear a lot today. And oh, that was a scary incident as a 14-year-old. That's the biggest, most traumatic thing that had ever happened to me that I recall up until that point. And except maybe when my dogs died. But oh my heavens. So that is my little story. And I'm at Tunnel Springs Park again, and I'm kind of in a little dugout area, so I can't look around too much, but let's see. There's a Salt Lake Valley, and way out there is Kennecott Copper. It used to be called Kennecott Copper. I think it's called Rio Tinto. Open pit copper mine. One of the world's biggest, I think, open pit copper mines. It's huge. The trucks, the tires on those trucks are bigger than I am. They're huge. And anyway, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And let's see if I can think of another story to tell after I hang up on this story. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.